Vicky, I need repurposing content help. All I'm doing is posting the same thing to different platforms. And I know that you have said that's lazy, but I don't know what else to do because I don't have the time at all to create content for like every single one of those platforms without it being like my full time job now.
I love this question. Actually, I love all of your questions, so keep them coming. I'm going to pop the link to my speak pipe in the show notes for you again. And if you have a question that you're dying to ask me, please send it along because I just love to have things to respond to. This is a question that I actually get a lot. How on earth can I be in all of the places all of the time? And how can I repurpose my content? Because the thing that we've kind of fallen into the bad habit of doing is just putting the same piece of content in all of the places, which isn't really the best experience for our audience members because each platform has its own specific type of content that it likes to have and that the people there expect. So if we just share the same post from Instagram to Facebook or wherever you are, then kind of doesn't feel right. I know on Pinterest right now, you can have your Instagram account attached to your Pinterest, and a lot of people are getting stuck in this big oopsie because the Instagram reels are reposting to Pinterest or the carousels are repurposing to Pinterest and they make no sense on that platform in the way that the platform runs compared to the way Instagram runs. Hopefully, I can take a little bit of the pressure off for you here in that I'm going to tell you you don't have to be everywhere. Choose one place to be what I would call short form content. So, a social media place to be something that's just, a flash in the pan type of content that's feeding an algorithm. And then choose one long form place to be that's going to drive your content. So, for me, it's this podcast. I made the decision at the beginning of 2024 that it's going to be the podcast that drives the bus. And so everything comes out of that. It could be your blog, it could be your YouTube channel, it could be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great long form, but you want to have anything that basically has a search engine. Another good place to start with long form content is your email list. We've done episodes on this podcast, and I have one on the Pulse on Human Design that is all about email marketing and how the ROI there is so much higher than anywhere else. So consider your email list a really good place to start and to pull content from. Try not to be in all the places. You do not have to be in all of the places. Get one that you can enjoy or semi-enjoy being on and really just go balls to the wall on that one and make the most you can out of that platform. And then down the road, if you can hire a team or if you have more time somehow that you're able to create more content, then look at adding another platform. Another thing that I invite you to consider is that so many times we think that we need a great big piece of content in order to pull other pieces from it. And this is something that we spend so much time on in content by design. I feel like by the time people get through the 8 weeks, they're like, now I finally can do this on my own over and over and over again. I can hold myself accountable to this. We tend to pack a lot of content into one little tiny Instagram post, right? So many times that people come into the program and they have 12 posts in one single Instagram post. So you may have more content in front of you than you think you do. And you don't have to have a blog post or a YouTube video or a podcast episode to pull the content from. You can start with an Instagram post that is one teeny tiny idea, and then you can expand on that in your email, and then you can expand further in your blog post, and then you can expand further in your YouTube video. So all of this stuff goes together, but isn't exactly the same thing over and over and over again. And then I'm getting really excited now. And then you can also take the YouTube video that you created from it, the blog post you created from it, the email you created to go with it, and you can spin off of those again. So it just becomes this constant wheel of creativity in your life. But the thing is, we feel so restricted, shall I say, in our content creation. Like we think it has to be a certain way. So we set out and think, okay, I have to have a blog post first. But your creativity doesn't flow like that. Creativity is not it has to be done this way. Creativity is all around the mulberry bush and it just keeps feeding onto itself. So how can you set up your life to really feed all of those aspects of creativity? You'll create more content than you ever dreamed possible by just letting it come through you in the way that it wants to come through you. And I just thought of another tip for you. If you're having a hard time creating content or getting something started, then get into the environment that is right for you. In your human design, there is an environment where you will see the things that you're meant to see when you're in that environment. For me, it's a markets environment. So if I'm really feeling in the sludge of things and I can't get my creativity to spark, I will go out to the shops. I will wander around a little town nearby just to get out. I don't have to buy anything. I just wander and feel that market's environment, and it enlivens my design and lets me access my creativity in a way that I can't access when I'm sitting in my own four walls of my office sometimes. So check your human design chart for your specific environment and spend some time in that environment to boost your creativity. I'm going to say one final thing here that I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, okay? Somewhere in my world, something is connected from my Instagram to my Facebook that I cannot figure out how it's pulling. And here I have been doing all of these things, especially in the body graph chart world. We did a boot camp on growing your Instagram audience last month. And somebody said to me, but yours is connected and yours is reposting the same thing. So I still can't find where that is. So know that it's not the end of the world if you mess something up, right? This is business. Business is third line. You have to go through trial and error. There's going to be things that go wrong, and there's going to be lessons that you have to learn along the way. So try not to make content this do or die. Like, social media is experimentation. It's a testing ground. I think that if we all just kind of take a breath and take the seriousness out of content creation and allow it to be fun and allow it to have good energy around it and allow it to really feel creative and allow ourselves to fall in love with that one platform for long form and short form, it can be so much easier. And then it's better received, right? Because the energy carries. So that's what I want to say about that for now. And of course, next week we start the 3-day event where I'm teaching you how to actually leverage your human design to create content in a way that is aligned for you and brings you paying clients. It's entirely free. I invite you to join us. I'll pop that link in the show notes for you. With the VIP upgrade, you also get a repurposing workshop from me and access to the replays for life. That could be a good option for you if you're really thinking, oh my gosh, I need to master this repurposing game. Get in the room with me and I'll help you out because I love to repurpose content. Right now, I probably have, without exaggeration, at least 500 pieces of content that could be repurposed in the back end of my business. And you know, this is getting kind of rambly, but here we are together for this morning. I actually had a conversation with someone last night on Instagram, and she was talking about how she's not creating any content to draw people to her programs. She has lots and lots of programs for sale, but she's not really creating content, and she's relying on her team to pull repurposed content out of her existing videos. And I had to remind her that that's not the content that's going to get you hired. So I want you to think about that too. Repurposing is great, and it feeds the algorithm and it fills up our need to feel like we have to have tons of content out there. But the type of content that you're going to repurpose with some form of AI, you pull out a reel out of a video you've done or a soundbite from a podcast you've done, that's not the content that's going to get you hired. The content that's going to get you hired is completely different than that repurposed content. So maybe that's another conversation that we need to have.